слушаем, нормально? Не поправил.
You just wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the birthday wishes yesterday. You are all totally amazing. Unfortunately, I couldn't get back to every single message, and hopefully you do forgive me for taking the day off. I did need some time to, see family and friends, and honestly, not really much has changed. And if anything, today is the important day for Bitcoin right now, because you can see we are literally hanging right here on a thread on the 200 daily moving average, and we know the significance of this moving average. Oftentimes it dictates whether or not we're actually in a bull or bear trend. But also having a look at this, which I already was doodling on before the video, but you can actually see right here what I really was doing was looking at the fact that here on the S&P, we've actually lost this center heart line right here. You can see we did have the support, and we fell below it. So essentially, the markets are looking very uncertain right now. Now, why is this happening? Well, it's because the U.S. Federal Reserve FOMC meeting that began on Tuesday is looking to end today with a statement and press conference from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. So just to catch you guys up, essentially, they are expected to announce the acceleration of asset purchasing tapering. Okay, so the Fed can raise interest rates sooner as the U.S. now has the hottest inflation in nearly 40 years, right? Specifically, the FOMC is expected to announce it will accelerate tapering asset purchases to $30 billion a month to wind the program down by March. Many analysts and economists believe 2 U.S. interest rate hikes will occur in 2022. So in summary, what does this all mean? Don't worry, we're going to get to the Bitcoin chart in a bit, but I think today a lot of really what's going to happen in the market is going to depend on what they end up saying, okay? Obviously, they're looking to taper. They're taking more of a hawkish stance rather than a dovish stance, right? So dovish would be lower interest rates, not really giving a crap about inflation, whereas hawkish is like, hold on, we need to tighten the reins here. And, a lot of talk around inflation has sort of been why a lot of people are saying that all these things have been going up and Bitcoin's been going up and the stocks have been going up, right? Because the dollar has continued to be devalued. So that's big news, guys. That's why I'm not really going to do too much TA today, because I don't know what's going to happen in a few hours. So you might know by the time you're watching this video, they may have already announced it, but I am going to go over and show you some things that are happening right now, specifically in the Bitcoin chart, that are really incredible. Some massive confluence that regardless of what ends up happening in the next couple days or even months, something big is happening, and you're going to want to stick around for that. So definitely stick around to the end of this video. There's so many things happening right now in the crypto space, so much bullish fundamentals and narratives, but right now, we obviously have some issues, plus not to mention the fact that, there was this news again about the variant, and even in New York now, they're making you wear masks again, and it's just getting crazy, right? So you got to do this till sometime next year, and people are freaking out. They're talking about supply chain issues now. You're not going to be able to get supplies for businesses, and we're going to go all through this over again. So I think this is where a lot of the uncertainty is coming from. But that being said, I've rambled on enough about where we are going. Let's talk about where we are right now and why I do believe the future is looking phenomenal for Bitcoin. So if you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. Let's hop in and have a look at Bitcoin super quick. Like I said, I'm not going too crazy over this chart today. If we do have negative news coming out and the stocks and Bitcoin does end up falling, then I do anticipate that we will find support right here around the $42,000 level. And honestly, I think a lot of people are kind of anticipating Bitcoin to go below 40,000. And you can see right here, we really didn't. We went to 40,000 on a few exchanges, but ultimately what you're looking at is this legacy support right here, where we had this point of contact, not to mention the bottom, okay, of the reaccumulation. So if anything, I could see Bitcoin coming down here and retesting this, and that would put Bitcoin at around 39,400. And I'll tell you what, if Bitcoin does go below $40,000, I'm probably going all in. Honestly, like I have some cash on the side for situations like this, and for me, that would be an all-in. Absolutely, I would take my risks. I would gamble on that. Not financial advice, but if we go below 40,000, I think you're going to look at a massive V-shaped recovery. That's just my opinion. As long as we don't go into a financial or just like depression, recession or something like that, right? So having a look right here, we are still in the blue zone. We're looking to break out. I've talked about my key levels, and you can see right here, obviously, there was fears that we are still in this ascending, broadening channel, and the target is still way down here, back around 31,000. So will we go down to 31,000? I still don't think we will, personally. But like I said, if we see a $39,000 Bitcoin, you can absolutely bet that I'll be buying. But here's something interesting. Here's something interesting happening right now. So like Dr. Jeff Ross pointed out, he said, check out the last 4 stochastic RSI bottoms since late 2019 on the weekly chart. We are at or near number 5. And you could see every single time, essentially, that even here, it was very, very little, but every single time there's always been massive bullish momentum after that move. And clearly we're sitting there again. So historically speaking, if you have a look at the RSI, it is essentially saying that we are oversold and we are looking for a bounce. We've also seen Willy Woo, who mentioned that the last time the retail, as in smaller buyers in large quantities, bought the dip was around the COVID crash, and you could see what happened. And we're almost at those same levels again. I mean, look at where we are right now. In fact, I think this level is sitting maybe a little higher than that, and you could see what happened to the markets, again, and also pointing out what Binky Ponderosa said in response to Dr. Jeff Ross. He mentioned what Glassnode had pointed out, that this is the largest gap between hodlers and young coins in Bitcoin history. So what does this mean? Well, it means, number one, it's typically a bottom signal. Obviously, we need to see what happens today with the news, okay? If we have a black swan event, well, then the charts really don't matter because people are going to be responding to the news. But what we can see from the data right here is essentially that a lot of the weak hands, a lot of the speculators, a lot of the people that just kind of hopped into crypto in the past couple months and they bought high and they thought that it was going to go to like millions of dollars, and well, a lot of them are out right now. This is basically what this is showing us, right? That, the weak hands, the people who didn't believe, they've been washed out. And the people that are here, the ones remaining in the space right now, we're the ones that believe in it. We are the hodlers, and this is going to build support because eventually, who's going to sell? Who's going to sell their Bitcoin? I'm not going to sell. Are you going to sell? Who's going to sell? At some point, there won't be any more sellers, and these institutions or these people, these whales, whoever wants to buy, is going to have no choice but to actually have to buy at higher prices because the selling is ultimately going to stop. That's how all markets bottom, right? They bottom because people stop selling. They go, no, I'm not selling my Bitcoin for that cheap. It's too cheap for Bitcoin, right? Having a look right here, the chief investment officer for multinational banking giant Citi has made a dire prediction. So he's saying regardless of the Fed tapering, regardless of what they're doing with interest rates, and regardless of what happens during today's meeting, we have David Ballin, Citi Global Wealth, said that people will be earning a negative rate of return on cash potentially for the next decade. Can you imagine negative rates? Can you imagine where you have to pay a bank for the privilege of having them hold your funds? Like, what is that about? He says we estimate that $1 will become 80 to 85 cents if you don't do anything with it. So like Sal the Agorist said, when you get a 3% raise, but inflation is 6.8. You see, it's getting ridiculous. This is why I have no fear when it comes to Bitcoin long term. Short term, yeah, money's going to freak out. People are going to panic. They're going to sell. They're going to do their thing. But long term, we know that the dollar it's just not going to work as a store of value. And regardless of what they try to do, we are going to continue to see it just essentially inflate and inflate and inflate. And not just that, but it's not just Bitcoin. I've been saying this, people often think that I'm like a Bitcoin maximalist because I put Bitcoin in the title of my videos and I talk about Bitcoin a lot. Well, that's because, I am a diehard Bitcoin fanatic, but I think that what blockchain technology is doing in general is so much bigger than just, being a distributed ledger and everything that Bitcoin is doing. I mean, when you have a look at what Ethereum and these other smart contract platforms are doing, the way that they're changing ownership, changing the fact that you can own an asset in a game, or you can actually take out the middleman, right? You can have a prenuptial agreement with a smart contract. You can tokenize, land deeds. You can tokenize all these different things. And, Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal agrees. Now, he does say that he thinks that crimped excess disposable income due to inflation is partially to blame for the bearishness right now. Many are scarred by past cycles, especially with the halving. But I told you, I think that we're in a lengthening cycle. He says, but you must put these past damages behind yourself. You have to look at what's happening right now. It is a new paradigm. Meaningful institutional adoption is underway, along with exponential new use cases, plus a rising realization of the importance of Web 3.0 by artists, musicians, brands. Okay, this is bigger than just, flipping some shit coins to make some money. No, this is huge. We're talking about the metaverse. We're talking about, having a, just as an example, your own Ethereum wallet, which could have your own identity on it, which would be your access to all these things, one key to rule them all, right? I mean, instead of having to sign into all these different platforms and trust all these people with your information, some sort of tipping point has been reached, he says, and I think it accelerates later this month and well into the next year. 2022 is the year I think the big herd arrives. Remember, I just showed you in my previous video that we're just finally having the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund starting to consider getting in. They're not even in yet. They haven't even started buying, guys. So if you think that, this is the peak, this is the top of the mountain, guys, I'm telling you, Bitcoin is going to $1 million, $2 million. Ethereum's going to $40,000, maybe even by the end of next year. That's a pretty crazy prediction to make. I probably should. It could though. It might. We'll have to see. It's possible. 20,000 I think is definitely possible. But looking ahead to 2022, the former hedge fund manager thinks that as traditional financial institutions allocate resources into the digital asset space, new energy and participation will flow. Oh, and not to mention just this, the New York Digital Investment Group, an asset manager onboarding institutional and corporate clients to Bitcoin, has raised an extra $1 billion. Now, why are they doing this? I love this. The capital will be used to further deploy NYDIG's institutional grade Bitcoin platform using recent upgrades to the Bitcoin protocol with capabilities such as Bitcoin and Lightning payments, asset tokenization, and smart contracts. Crazy. I don't know how I feel about smart contracts on Bitcoin. A little bit crazy, but they're working on it, guys. This new equity capital will further accelerate progress towards making this exciting network accessible and useful to all. Now, I know you guys want to hear about Ethereum because Ethereum is still technically performing better than Bitcoin, but Ethereum has actually hit its legacy trend, okay? And you can see right here, this green line, where we did fall below it, it acted as some resistance right here, but we are sitting on that line. So if we do lose this, the next level down, if you are looking to short, by the way, if you guys if you do want to trade, I do have over $8,000 in bonuses. You guys can check that out below. Make sure you watch the tutorials. Don't try to trade if you've never done it before. I will walk you through step by step and show you how to do it. Check the videos. They should be popping up or something like that. But talking about this, if we do fall below this level, then Ethereum is, I would say, almost certainly going to fall to about $3,385, where I would expect there to be a bounce, but then we would be turning a lot of the support into resistance. So that is a situation that could happen for Ethereum. But as I've been saying, ultimately, if you have the patience to sit it out and to actually have a look at what's going on with the chart right now, we are forming essentially a rising triangle, right? An ascending triangle. And this is very bullish on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. So I do anticipate that when we do finally break out of this, I don't know, this could go all the way. I mean, this could go for quite some time. This could technically go all next year if we really stayed in this triangle. But ultimately, I think when we do break out, I think you're going to see Ethereum absolutely skyrocket, like big time. We had a fake out here, but that's why I continue to accumulate it. And it's not just me, guys. It's not just me. Because we could see, according to data from Santiment, the top 10 largest non-exchange Ethereum addresses now hold $24.78 million worth of Ethereum. That's around $96.33 billion at the time of writing. Santiment also noticed that the 10 largest Ethereum addresses on exchanges hold a cumulative 3.82, which is the lowest levels since Exodus. Oh, and not to mention the fact that Bitcoin has also hit a recent low when it comes to exchanges, the lowest total in 31 months, which is saying that there's still not a lot of Bitcoin on exchanges. So this limits the risk of a major Bitcoin sell-off. Well, we have to think about that. Now, I do believe it's a good thing that we have Bitcoin off of the exchange, but also understand that if there's less coins on the exchange, then that means there's lower liquidity. You understand what I'm saying? So there's more slippage on the books. And if that's where we're getting all the data from, even though I do believe it's bullish that people are putting Bitcoin into cold storage and they're holding it for the long term, it's also a little scary considering there's not a lot of Bitcoin on exchanges. So if they do decide to start panic selling, the order books are thinner. You understand? Because there's not as many Bitcoin, so they don't have to go through as many orders, which means you could technically see some really volatile price movements. So things could get a little bit crazy, guys. Things could get a little bit crazy. But I do want to end on the fact that Tether has been handed a new class action lawsuit. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not ending on this. Who cares about Tether news? Come on, every other day, Tether news. No, this is the news I wanted to end on. So you have York Rhodes, the director of digital transformation at Microsoft. This is him in the picture right here. For the past 7 years, okay, he's been working at Microsoft. He has boldly predicted that Ethereum will become the new app store in just 2 years. This implies that he thinks Ethereum will scale in the next 2 years, presumably through, ZK rollups, Plasma, whatever it is. He thinks it's going to be able to handle the load. And he says it has further advantages. He talks about no commerce lock into Apple, no single point of control by a large corporation. ETH is distributed, decentralized, single sign-in across apps. Think about that. That's kind of what I said earlier, while also having payments, identity, and commerce all in one. Many current Web 2 titans have pointed out that if they were building Web 2 now, they would incorporate crypto into their stack. Many are suspecting that in this new wave with the metaverse and Web3, all this other stuff, that crypto is going to be a big part of it. You had Ben Thompson, a former Microsoft employee, saying on his blog, he just wrote this the other day, he said, this is the type of role that blockchain will fill. Provide uniqueness and portability where necessary in a way that makes it possible to not just live your life entirely online, but as many lives simultaneously as you might wish, locked in to essentially nowhere. Excuse me. And not to mention the fact that this is just also kind of cool news. We do have the mayor of Jackson, Tennessee, also becoming the latest to support the concept of implementing provisions that will allow citizens to receive a portion of their retirement, 401k, or whatever of their choice, potentially in Bitcoin. So, having a look at this, markets are scared. Markets are worried about what's going to happen today. What is the Fed going to say? What are they going to do? Are they hawkish? Are they dovish? Doesn't really matter, guys. I think you can see that by the end of this video. The short-term price action, sure, we can have fun, we can trade it, it's speculative, but long-term, every single thing is pointing towards crypto. It's pointing towards Bitcoin. It's pointing towards Ethereum. We have constant inflation. It doesn't matter what they do, guys. It doesn't matter what they do. They're raising the debt ceiling. I don't care if they're raising negative interest rates, this, that. It doesn't matter. They're not going to fix it. The damage has been done. Bitcoin is that answer. And as far as the next revolution of Web 3.0, when we talk about the metaverse and gaming and NFTs and personal identification and property and contracts, smart contracts that don't actually need a middleman, how could you bet against crypto? Why would you bet against crypto? So, like I said, guys, maybe we get a dip. I don't know. Maybe we get a dip down to 30K again, but there's no stopping this. There's no stopping this. And inevitably, I do believe that once all of this garbage is kind of over with, and once people finally relax on this whole COVID situation and we realize that it's probably just going to be here forever and we need to deal with it, okay? We need to just wash our hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, like they taught you in kindergarten, and just be safe, okay? Because it's not going anywhere. Like the flu doesn't go anywhere. The common cold doesn't go anywhere, right? It's just something we're going to have to deal with. Fed's going to keep inflating, and I guarantee you that next year is going to be absolutely phenomenal for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And if we do have a black swan event, well, then I still think Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain technology is an answer to a lot of our problems, most of our problems that we have today. Is Bitcoin going to solve world hunger? Probably not. Probably not. But crypto and Bitcoin definitely solve a lot of the other issues that we have right now in the world, and that's why I continue to make these videos. And I bought Bitcoin 2 days ago, and I'm down on my purchase, but I don't care. I don't care because I know long term that even buying at these levels, if I'm wrong in the next month or wrong in the next few months, in the years to come, a $40,000, $30,000, $50,000 Bitcoin is going to look like a joke. It's going to look like when people were buying a $2,000 Bitcoin and everyone was laughing at them saying, well, Bitcoin was just $1,000. You're buying it for $2,000. Oh my, you know how much money you're paying? Do you think it's worth that? Well, and then it did a 10x. Okay. So that being said, guys, don't panic. You only lose when you sell. And, if you're investing in a bunch of shit coins that you have no faith in, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. That sucks. But when you're investing in things you believe in, like I'm investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the top, layer one projects I really like, doesn't bother me at all when a dip happens, because I know where the space is going. And honestly, I just buy more. I just buy more. But like I said, if we go down to like 39 and I may have to unleash. Might have to unleash the Kraken and just go in and just go hard, because that would be a buying opportunity right there. So anyway, guys, I'm rambling on. Thanks again. I do love you. You're awesome. I hope you're having a great week. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And as usual, like I said, if you guys are looking to trade, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to trade these markets. But if you're using leverage, please be safe. Please be careful. Lots of volatility about to come in. And if you want to learn how to do that, make sure that you watch the tutorials right here. I go through everything step by step. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Love you. Till next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.